All right, we're going to be looking at a genealogy today, the genealogy of Shem. Shem is the chosen lineage. Shem is the ancestor of the chosen line, the one that gave birth to Abraham and Isaac and Ishmael, the father of the Jews and the Muslims, and it ultimately went down to King David. And basically everybody that you read about in the Bible, the main lineage, the nation of Israel, and ultimately the Messiah, Jesus Christ, came through the lineage of Shem. One key thing I want you to notice as we read through this, because it can be monotonous for some people. One key thing I want you to notice is that Shem was still alive when Jacob was alive. Yes, Jacob's great-grandfather and grandfather may have been dead, but Shem, his 8th great-grandfather, was still alive. And we can assume that it was that way for Japheth and Ham, Shem's brothers. So you can imagine that 7 generations later, these people began to be viewed as gods. And that's why we have traditions in nearly every culture of these demigods that ruled on the earth. There's a lot of similarities in the names also. The father of the Greek people, Iapetus in Greek literature. And what do we have? Japheth. Very similar. But let's take a look at the lineage of Shem. So these are the generation of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. How do you like that name, Arphaxad? And Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad 500 years. Incredible. But notice the lifespan has been cut in half. People were living to be nearly 1,000 years old after the flood. Lifespans quickly decreased. And then after Arphaxad came Selah, and Arphaxad lived after we got Selah 403 years, and he begot other sons and daughters. Selah lived 30 years and begat Eber. That's where you get the name Hebrew from. And Selah lived after he begat Eber 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And then after Eber, he had Peleg. And Eber lived after he begot Peleg 430 years. And Peleg, he's the one that says in his days the earth was divided. This is likely when the Tower of Babel happened. Peleg's son was Ru, and then notice this, Peleg lived after he begat Ru 209 years. Notice lifespans are shortening. Ru lived 230 years and begat Serug, and then he lived 207 years afterwards. Serug begot Nahor when he was 30 years old. Serug lived after begat Nahor 200 years and begot sons and daughters. Notice this, Nahor lived 9 and 20 years. That's younger than what I was when I had my daughter. He begat Terah, and Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begot sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years. Notice who he gives birth to: Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. Now we know who Abram is. That's later Abraham. Haran, though, begat Lot. That makes him the nephew of Abraham.